All right, I saw this review for Rings of Power, and I was confused to see follow the money sort of thing. And then someone pointed out, oh yeah, Amazon owns Internet Movie Database. So here's the review. I can't read it all. It's 4 pages. The Lord of the Rings Rings of Power has practically become a declaration that rolls off the tongue and gathers tones of fan craze, passion, pop culture promise before it leaves the mouth. That's the first sentence. What Amazon did with the production is nothing less than a game-changing take on what is even possible for a show. Streaming a series will never be the same again. And then he goes through, nicely broken up into paragraphs. Thank you for the use of white space to make it easy on the eye. It almost looks professionally done. This guy goes through and he knows everything about Lord of the Rings, Tolkien, and the Silmarillion, and then also everything about the Rings of Power, Amazon Rings of Power trademark production, like everything about the production, from the sets, the writers, the cinematography, probably any who was involved in the blocking of the actors, to the hair and makeup. And he names of the writers who scripted the magnificence I saw on screen. And then goes into the musical scoring. It was stirring, warm, chilling, and brilliant. He captured the soul of this franchise, and that's saying something. After what he names all the names of everyone involved, not only in the original trilogy 20 years ago, but the Hobbit movies as well. This guy seems to really have done his homework, or he's a true fan of the books and movies, which is entirely possible. Except the one thing that confused me is a true fan wouldn't give this 10 out of 10 because it's not Lord of the Rings. It's not in keeping with Tolkien's original artistic vision. And I don't say that just because of the cultural Marxist war, like this is, erasing European people. It's like, which I, obviously say it is. But I mean, I don't think objectively a fan can give this a high score. He gives it a 10 out of 10. So you're saying like the original Peter Jackson films 20 years ago are either a 10 out of 10 also, or somewhat less than Rings of Power? That doesn't make sense because those stories were at least keeping with Tolkien's original vision. So like on that, you can say something doesn't add up here when you give this Rings of Power a 10 out of 10. And presumably you're giving Peter Jackson's the same score because it only goes up to 10. Something is not adding up here. So you go through art direction, set decoration teams, hair, makeup, sound effects, stunts, CGI, visual special effects. A lot of details. So it doesn't seem that you're a fan of the Tolkien's books and then the movies later made 20 years ago, because you gave this a 10 out of 10 that is not in accord with you being a fan of Tolkien, because this is not Tolkien's work. Rings of Power it is what it is. It's a modern. It's propaganda. Yes, it's propaganda. It's not. I mean, visually, you can look at it and go, "Oh, well, Tolkien's story was a European story. An Englishman wrote a story about European culture and mythology, and it it borrowed from earlier European mythology." If you say you're a fan of that, it's impossible to give this a 10 out of 10, which he does. So it kind of leads me to believe, oh, you're not actually a fan. You're somebody who's involved with Amazon, who wrote this on Internet Movie Database, and give this a perfect score, which is also owned by Amazon. And he goes through and names all the actors involved. He goes on for 4 pages of this, and then he knows the names of all the actors involved, almost as if he has notes as he types this. Again, nice use of paragraphs and white space. This is he goes through, continues to name the actors, throwbacks to prior work, as you can see, really quite a bit of detail. Including the sets and makeup, talking about how the beard was transformed, the hair, makeup excellence. I mean, this is too much. This is like way over the top. Let's conclusion. Oh, and then dear God, it says all the cast and crew did enchanting work on Rings of Power, now streamed on Amazon Prime Video. I mean, this is gilding the lily. I kind of assume this is someone who speaks English very well in a foreign country, who's being paid to write this, because this is so effusive. I mean, this is saccharine. As I write the review, I'm dumbfounded and incredulous with the sheer magic they wrought in Rings of Power. Every scene was akin to an immersive painting. Landscape, languages, cultures, races, cities at all. None of that makes sense because it's not in keeping with the story's original. Also built Tolkien's world atop it. That doesn't make any sense. I offer my sincerest gratitude to Amazon for making dreams come true with the brilliant work, excellence you forged in this intricate production, and spirit of Pippin inquiring after third breakfast. This is way too much. I eagerly await the third episode with heart heavy with satisfaction and beating with expectation. This is the stuff Tolkien dreams are made out of. And 200 people out of 1,500 found this helpful, which is meaning they're not buying this level of insanity.